From Angry Kid to Peace Prize winner. Anger is a great force. If you control it, it can be changed into a power which can move the whole world. Adapted from Chicken Soup for the Soul Stories for a Better World. Wayne Sakamoto. A hush fell over the banquet room. It was time, and my heart was beating wildly. I couldn't believe I was here, and that, in a moment, all eyes would be on me. I stood as I heard my name called, and with sweaty palms I began my walk to the podium amidst the thunderous applause. As I stood there, acknowledging the outburst of approval from my peers, I couldn't help thinking how my old friends from my violent high school days would roll over laughing in disbelief if they could see me now. I was the angry kid who had joined them in petty thefts, riding in stolen cars and various acts of vandalism, and I was about to accept a California Peace Prize from the California Wellness Foundation. My second thought was I really can't get into any public conflicts anymore. How embarrassing would it be to read in the newspaper that Wayne Sakamoto, Safe Schools lead coordinator who is responsible for violence prevention, conflict resolution, and gang prevention in San Diego County has been arrested. I chuckled to myself as I smiled and accepted the prestigious award. Thank you. I am honored to be here. It had been a journey to this evening's recognition. I have remembered the anger I had felt as a little boy confronted by racism. My parents had tried to prepare me for discrimination, but I was still surprised and deeply hurt by it. The first time it happened, I was about 7. There was this playground equipment in the park that I wanted to climb. It was like a rocket ship with a capsule on the top. It was difficult, but I made it to the top, only to be confronted by some older kids who were up there. "You don't belong up here," they yelled at me. "You're a Jap." "What do you mean? I'm an American." "No, you're not, you're a Jap." I was outraged and confused. There weren't any adults around to help me. I went home. I didn't tell my parents. I had learned from them that there are some things, some feelings you don't talk about. I knew they had been interned during World War II as teenagers. Only rarely did they talk about it, giving me the briefest glimpses into what it must have been like. My mother spoke of the cold draft that was always blowing through the shack. They both spoke of shortages of food and going hungry. The property their families had owned before was taken away from them, as well as scholarships to college, their only way to attend, the senior prom, and many other things that couldn't be replaced. I started experiencing more and more of these discriminating messages. "No, you don't belong. No, you're not one of us." I became more and more angry. I began hating myself. I didn't fit in. I was filled with rage. The name-calling continued, and I started getting into fights. I never told anyone that it was because of the racial name-calling. When my family moved from Orange to Riverside County, we were the only Asian family in the barrio. Recess time from the first day on was a time to fight. I had to prove I was pretty tough, not a pushover. I was always proving myself. My only escape was telling myself stories to get to sleep. I was always the hero, living in a big house, being the best athlete and having wonderful parties. When I got older, instead of stories, I went over in my mind what had happened during the day, how I could have changed the outcome, what I could have done differently. I think a lot of our youth today don't have an opportunity to do that. When I work with angry kids now, I ask, "Where do you think your anger is coming from?" I encourage them to reflect on their lives. Looking straight into their eyes, I tell them, until you can accept who you are and what you cannot change, you will not be able to move on. I certainly did not change all at once. It was very gradual, baby steps. The first person to really help me was my 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Madeline West. She entered my life on the playground when I was still in the 4th grade. She saw me shoving another kid, and she grabbed my arm and told me how unacceptable my behavior was. She started watching me after that. I hoped I wouldn't get her when I was in the 6th grade. You guessed it, that's who I got. She never said anything about the past. Instead, she saw potential in me. She believed I could do better in school. She helped me believe in myself. When she talked to me, it was genuine. I wasn't over being a knucklehead, but meeting her was a turning point. Kids do need adults in their lives to care about them. It's a slow process, but they do make a difference in a kid's life. In my work, I don't try and change kids. I just give them information. I tell them about my own experiences, how my own anger felt when I was a kid. I talk about the joy I felt being connected with other guys as angry as I was, inflicting hurt on those that hurt us and those that hadn't hurt us, the addiction of the adrenaline rush. Kids recognize authenticity. I tell them that anger is a natural emotion. It's important how you channel it, so channeling your anger is what's important. Kids tend to think that conflict always turns violent. They don't understand that there are other ways to resolve conflict. We must give them tools to communicate their anger other than a physical fight or tragic school shooting. God makes straight paths with crooked lines. As a child, Wayne started out on a straight path. Discrimination made the path crooked. Once he learned to communicate his anger in a positive way, the path became straight again. Wayne's understanding of anger is used as his talent to help others. Wayne is lead coordinator for Safe Schools. He teaches violence prevention. He teaches conflict resolution and gang prevention in San Diego County. He started with one talent, and ended up with many more peaceful talents that he shares with others. It's never too late to change. The best revenge is a life well lived. Chloe Neal. The only thing that overcomes hard luck is hard work. Harry Golden. Success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life, as by the obstacles which he has overcome. Booker T. Washington. The good thief turned his life around and he is eternally grateful to the Lord for his mercy.